They think like, oh, we must bring in a behavioral analysis. Analysis of body language leads to the hypothesis that there are strong interests driving Abraham's behavior. So cute, my little Hasanito. But let's get to No Other Land, the boys, okay? The boys that won an Oscar.
Oscar goes to No Other Land. This is the first Oscar and
Okay, but people say, where's the Nelson Mandela or the peace guy for Gaza? The answer is that he's dead or shot by Israeli missile. What to do? No, there is first of all, Nelson Mandela is not the peace guy for South Africa. He was literally in jail and refused to denounce violence as a formative part of his emancipatory struggle. And his jail sentence was extended time and time again for that. So Nelson Mandela was on the terrorist watch list, the American terrorist watch list until 2008, okay, far after he had actually been released from prison and became the leader of South Africa. So that's number one. And he has always stood up and actively talked about the formative role that militancy plays in resistance, and defended it, and literally has stayed in prison, extended his prison stay for that reason, for his defense of that. And the other argument is that it's Marwan Barghouti, which Hamas, even though they are supposed to be at odds with Marwan Barghouti, want Marwan Barghouti to be released from Israeli prison. So the Palestinian emancipatory movement, the Palestinian resistance, is united on bringing about an end to this occupation for understandable reasons. That is what their goal is. Okay?
Nomination for Basel Adra, Rachel Shore, Hamdan Bilal, and
Hamdan Bilal.
Abraham.
Thank you to the Academy for the award.
Also, I'm very stoked and I'm very proud of you guys. This community raised $130,000. This community raised $131,000 for No Other Land Rebuilding Alliance fundraiser. We raised $100K when we had we raised $100,000 just while these guys were on the stream, you know? Amazing. Fantastic. I love this community. That is why at the end of the day, no matter what people say, no matter what, like, oh, you're a terrorist, this or that, you're a bad person, this or that, none of that matters. Okay? None of that matters. We go ban for ban. All of these vice signalers out there who try to fucking smear me and smear you as well, they got nothing. They got no motion. They have horrible, sad, pathetic lives. And all they do is try to actively take down a community that is doing good. They hate that we do good here, and that's why they just try to smear to the best of their ability, okay? Did you hear that they found this white supremacist dude? Oh, they unmasked this guy? Nice. Captive Dreamer. Yeah, he used to be my biggest reply guy, my biggest Nazi reply guy. All right. I saw some Palestinians on TikTok saying the speech was really bad and kind of aligning with Israel, especially the October 7 comments. Yes, I know. I'm going to get to it. Hold on. I have some controversial takes that is going to make nobody happy.
It's such a big honor for the four of us and everybody supported us for this documentary. About 2 months ago, I became a father, and my hope to my daughter that she will not have to live the same life I'm living now, always fearing settlers' violence, home demolitions, and forest spill displacements that my community, Masafir Yatta, is living and facing every day under the Israeli occupation. No other land reflect the harsh reality that we have been enduring for decades and still persist as we call on the world to take serious actions to stop the injustice and to stop the ethnic cleansing of Palestinian people.
So make no mistake. So this is Yuval Abraham, okay? He was supposed to come on the broadcast as well, but he was traveling on the day that I had Basel and Hamdan on. So unfortunately, he couldn't make it. I've asked Noah to hit up the 972 people to get Yuval on as well. I'm working on, if he's still in Los Angeles, because he's, probably very busy, considering he just won a fucking Oscar. But I'm going to try to see if I can get him on as well. I've relied on his work in the past. I think he's a great investigative reporter. I don't fully agree with everything, and I don't agree with the framing that he engages with here, but it doesn't matter, okay? Because ultimately, he plays a very important role in this. Now, the reason why I think he plays a very important role in this is because I'm not so silly to think that this documentary would have ever been produced or ever even, gotten out and gotten this much public appraisal or, even though there are still obviously very serious setbacks, it was the highest grossing documentary of 2024, and yet it still has not gotten a U.S. distributor, which is crazy, right? Unprecedented. And that shows you that there are still so many hurdles to overcome in terms of getting the word out, right? But this documentary in and of itself would not get to this, would never get this level of attention if it was not attached to an Israeli, okay? That is the reality. That is the sad reality, okay? If you don't recognize that, I don't know what to tell you. There is no way. It just would not happen. Because, unfortunately, the way that Palestinians are treated by the Western world is like they are not real human beings, okay? They are actively dehumanized by those in positions of power, okay? But because of that reason, I think it's important that there are people within Israel, within the ethno-supremacist state, that do put their names out there and their bodies out there alongside Palestinians to help give a voice to this struggle. Okay? I think this is ultimately a good thing. I hate this framing that Israelis are intertwined with Palestinians. They're settlers and they need to face this reality instead of whitewashing the position of privilege he holds. Very narcissistic stuff. What is this? How are Twitter accounts with Palestine flag in their name falling for this Hosbro about your cancellation? Okay, stop, chatter. Come on. We're being serious right now. Yeah, the whole Berlin fiasco too, but Germany is obviously on another level. Exactly.
We made this film, Palestinians and Israelis, because together our voices are stronger. We see each other. The atrocious destruction of Gaza and its people, which must end. The Israeli hostages, brutally taken in the crime of October 7th, which must be freed. When I look at Basel, I see my brother, but we are unequal. We live in a regime where I am free under civilian law, and Basel is under military laws that destroy his life and he cannot control. There is a different path, a political solution, without ethnic supremacy, with national rights for both of our people. And I have to say, as I am here, the foreign policy in this country is helping to block this path. And, why? Can't you see that we are intertwined? That my people can be truly safe if Basel's people are truly free and safe? There is another way.
So people got very upset at this. Right? They were like, what do you mean? My people are only safe. Like, factoring Israeli security concerns into this conversation about, apartheid and genocide is inappropriate, was the initial reaction. But I think what Yuval is saying there Okay. And I don't fully agree with him because I know he's like said, I mean, he has said a bunch of things about October 7th in the past as well. But I think everybody received this in the way that they wanted to. Like, some people really liked it because this gives them permission to feel good. This gives white liberals permission to feel good. Right? But yeah, what he's saying basically is, yeah, nobody is free until everybody is free. Okay? Having said that, however, this is, of course, not the end all be all. Okay? He's not going to, I don't think Yuval is ever going to come out and be like, you know, Hamas is bullets are guided by Allah. They are doing a moral thing or whatever. He's not going to say that. Okay? It's ridiculous. The expectation here is that he is not speaking to the Palestinians in general. He's not speaking to those who understand the dynamic very well. He's speaking to those who don't understand this dynamic at all. That's the entire purpose of this fucking documentary. That's it. So when he says, like, we will never be free until Palestinians are free, you can either interpret that as, well, Israel has security concerns and he just only cares about the Israeli security concerns, or you can interpret it as no one is free until everyone is free, and that, you know, I mean, I think he should have just said this, there should be an end to this occupation. Like that would have wrapped it up much nicer, I think. You know? This is like what you say when trans black shadows get mad at you and talking about them. He's not talking to you. His job is to be the bridge to the Western Israeli audience, and that's what he's doing. Using your privilege for good is a good thing, and all the hate Yuval is getting is unwarranted. Be mad that Palestinians need Israelis to help them tell stories. Don't be mad at the Israeli guy who's doing the job he should be doing. Yeah, I don't think that I don't think that this is a bad thing at all. I think this is a good thing. He clearly doesn't want the occupation to end. I don't think that that's the case. I don't know.
It's not too late for life, for the living. There is no other way. Thank you.
Like, even his invocation of October 7, I think, can be interpreted within the context of like, October 7 happened because of the occupation. Yeah, there's a crime for undermining the crimes of October 7, classic fascist shit. He just can't, and it's okay for now. Like, I think that this documentary winning an Oscar is a good thing. Okay? I will stand by that. Because this documentary winning an Oscar is like, I don't think people understand what the issue of Palestine was like, especially in circles like fucking Hollywood, okay? Like, I know that a lot of you got really woke on this post October 7, and you have these opinions, right? And you have these strong opinions, and that's understandable because you've seen incredible amounts of cruelty. Like, you've seen a direct genocide in real time take place. And that's like mind-boggling that other people don't see the reality that you see. But as someone who is 33 fucking years old, I'm telling you, when I explain to you that as someone who has seen this play out in the Western world for the past 10 years, as someone who has been outspoken about Palestinian liberation, I cannot comprehend how we even got to this point. Hollywood is the number one foreign policy defenders, okay? Hollywood loves the State Department. They booed Michael Moore. They booed him off stage, famously. And Michael Moore is like a social democrat who's like, maybe we shouldn't be so violent. Like, that's all he said. And they were like, boo, yeah, kill yourself, you know? Yeah, 5 Broken Cameras is the last Palestinian doc that was nominated. It lost in 2013 to Searching for Sugar Man, and the director was detained on entry into the U.S. Like, I cannot comprehend how far this movement has gotten in terms of especially like broad public appeal, but even institutional recognition. Okay. I am never going to disparage that. I'm never going to disparage that because everything that I do, everything that I advocate for, I advocate while also taking a serious look at the material realities. I also advocate, or everything that I advocate for, I obviously factor in public, collective consciousness on these issues. Okay? It's a massive, massive, and very significant moment. And yes, the sad reality of it is that this would have never happened if it was not attached to an Israeli investigative reporter. Okay? And even if I have my disagreements with some of the things that Yuval has said apparently on his Twitter and whatnot, it still doesn't matter. 972 Magazine and Local Call are fantastic investigative reporters inside of Israel. And if you are serious about covering the many different crimes that the Israeli state engages in, okay, you need guys like him. That's it. You don't have to agree with everything that they say. You don't have to agree with their entire worldview, but they're doing an incredibly important job. Okay, in the face of untold amounts of cruelty that the Palestinians are subjected to, yes, they're using their position of privilege. Okay, and they're like, Yuval can go anywhere he wants. He can go anywhere in the United States of America. He can go anywhere he wants in the West Bank. His freedom of travel is not restricted in the same way that Basil and Hamdan's freedom of travel is restricted. Okay? Their families are constantly under threat. You should remind Chad that Basil's village also was reported on by Shireen Abu Akleh, bringing attention to the plight of Palestinians is a net good. Yeah. Shireen Abu Akleh reporting from the village featured in No Other Land. Sadly, just as the occupation forces killed the residents of the village, they eventually killed her too. Yeah. Just as I will not stand down whenever people tell me that I am pro-terrorism, that I'm an Islamist fundamentalist who loves Hamas or whatever, just as I will not stand down from helping Americans, the Western audiences, understand how violent, militant resistance occurs when a population is subjected to untold amounts of cruelty and violence themselves, and how that violence and the standard of that violence is set by the occupying entity, the more powerful force, the Israeli state in this process. And a reaction to that violence is always going to try to match the level of violence that Israel is subjecting the Palestinians to. Just like I will not back away from that commentary, I am not going to immediately cast aside people who might not agree with me every step of the way. Okay? That's it. That's it. That's it. That's how it goes. Anyway, let's continue. My job and the role I see myself playing in the issues that I speak on is to actively bring more allies, is to actively convince more people to have an empathetic approach to those who are struggling. And a part of that, a big part of that, revolves around understanding that most people are victim to social conditioning. Okay? Social conditioning plays a major role in their lives and the way that they approach the world. And it's no different whether you live in Israel and you take for granted everything that the Israeli state has told you, everything that Israeli education has taught you, or if you live in the United States of America and you learn that, our founding fathers were good guys ultimately, but, maybe some of them hunt slaves. It's not a big deal, whatever. Maybe there was a little bit of genocide, or that America does a lot of violence, but it's actually ultimately at the behest of a greater good, right? Like, I understand that if that is so many people's starting position, that I have to work to actively deprogram these people, and I can't do that by constantly yelling at them and saying that they're bad or problematic or evil, okay? No one is evil. There is no such thing. No one is good or bad. Everyone is, at the end of the day, victim to their material circumstances, okay? Victim to social conditioning. And they can do evil things in the process, or they can do good things in the process, but we are still responding to shapes and colors, okay? That's it. Peter Beinart says, this is what must scare AIPAC and its allies. They are winning politically but losing culturally. Their attack ads can't stop Blue America's shift in collective consciousness on the question of Palestinian freedom. If politics really is downstream from culture, they're in trouble. Okay? Here's completely unhinged piece on the leading Israeli site, Channel 12's Mako, claims that Yuval Avraham spoke in such an offensive manner about the state of Israel without understanding the consequence of the damage he causes, but that his body language shows he was lying. Analysis of body language leads to the hypothesis that there are strong interests driving Abraham's behavior. These guys in Israel cannot even comprehend how someone can see the Israeli state as ultimately doing a lot of evil, okay? They can't even comprehend it. They think like, oh, we must bring in a behavioral analysis. Analysis of body language leads to the hypothesis that there are strong interests driving Abraham's behavior. He wanted to say terror babies, but he stopped himself. Yes. He is being mind controlled by a puppet. It seems the puppet is Hamas and Iran. He must have been given the drug that Hamas has that makes you dap. Ultimately, all I'm saying is I would be an unimaginable hypocrite if I were to speak out against those who are like Ofer Kasif or Tal or numerous other anti-Zionist Israelis as someone who is an anti-imperialist American. Okay? The fuck? I live in America. I like America. I want America to reach its potential. I want America to take advantage of its bounty, its endless bounty, and actually do good for the world. Okay? That's why I endlessly critique it. It's ridiculous. I think a lot of people get washed away in all of the Hasan says America bad all the time nonsense.
现在太阳风呀风风风嘞，西周太阳是毛泽东嘞，看看到我们的职业班嘞，这里本身当家。